Welcome back to the channel, friends. Today I want to talk to you about an AI tool that can really help you elevate your stock investing game. Let's be honest, AI is everywhere these days, right? But when it comes to stock-related AI tools, there aren't really that many that really stand out. However, Perplexity is really one that you should have on your list and definitely check out because it has a lot of nifty features, which I'm going to run you through in this video. Now, for the most part, you can use Perplexity actually completely free. And I believe most of the features that I'm going to show you are available for free. However, personally, I am on the Pro plan because I actually get it free of charge with Revolut. Since I am on the Metal plan, you can see over here, you get also Perplexity Pro, depending on where you live, but pretty much most countries, I believe, do offer that perk, which I think is great. Usually it's around, I think, $20. So personally, I wouldn't be paying for it, but since I get it as a benefit, it definitely is a nice perk. To be really honest, I don't really use Perplexity that much. I know some people absolutely love it. And when AI really started to get hyped, I also started using it because it was really cool. But now I really find myself using ChatGPT as my daily workhorse and Claude as well for coding and writing. I think it does a better job. However, for stocks, I actually really start liking Perplexity, and I think you might as well. Right, so jumping over to Perplexity, you can see I'm on the Pro plan. If you don't have it, you can be on the free plan. I just think it gives you a little bit lesser search. You can see over here, with Pro, I have 3x more sources and powerful models available, unlimited access for subscribers. You do get 3 deep research queries per day, as well as some labs. But again, I'm not going to go through overall Perplexity, what it can do. Instead, I really want to focus on the finance part, which I think makes them really special. And how you get there, you come over here to the plus button, and then you see at the top left already, the first thing, literally, finance. So you want to click on that, and boom, you have a proper finance dashboard, which is really very cool, right? Because, technically you could ask any other AI of a choice some AI-related questions, right? And ChatGPT would answer your questions, Claude, Gemini, all of them. But to have a dedicated interface and dashboard as they have in Perplexity Finance, I really like. Now, first of all, I really like the first thing over here. It shows you market open, market close. It's a small thing, but it just gives you, a nice indication. Also, the market sentiment. Now, obviously, basically, it takes the overall, you can see major indices. And based on that, whether it's up or down. So you get a quick idea whether, markets are overall trending up or down. Now, then you have the usual, you can look for stocks. We'll get to this in a moment. You have the biggest indices, mostly obviously focused on US markets. I believe you could be able to change that right now. I don't see. So it's mostly focused on the US, but stock research you can also do on stocks outside the US. You have usual watch list over here, which you can, of course, add any stocks you want to it. Very easy. Let's say you want to add Amazon, pulls it up already, you add it, and boom, it has been added to your watch list. So that's also really easy and, nice to do. Price alert. As anywhere, you can set up a price alert for any stock that you want to have, target amount, and boom, it will start sending you alerts. Then over here on the left, you have also gainers and losers. Just to keep an eye, seems this is daily gainers and losers, right? You have a stock here up 212% in a day. Absolutely crazy. What is this stock? Volcon. If I click into this, you see a market cap is very small at 15 million. So obviously, those daily swings are huge. But yeah, certainly not particularly a company I would be interested in, but never mind. You quickly see what's happening, also the biggest losers, and active by volume, obviously, what is being traded. So gives you a good idea. Then you see the equity sectors over here also, which of the sectors are doing well overall, as well as cryptocurrencies. We'll come to this. They have a separate section for that as well, and fixed income as well, if you were to look and invest into that. Then you get a quick market summary. And again, that's the beauty of using an AI tool. It really pulls it in from all different sources, right? And gives you a snapshot of how things are doing. Now, I'm not sure why it gives it to me right now. It seems in Polish. Very interesting. Let me refresh that. Okay, now we're back to English, so that's good. And yeah, you basically get a quick overview of what's happening. And yeah, you see the sources if you wanted to see where it pulls it from. And from here, you could then dive into each individual source if you wanted to. Latest news as well. You can go through. And then, of course, some popular spaces for finance research. These are almost like little GPTs inside ChatGPT, built specifically for financial reasons. If you wanted to go into that, you could do that as well. And then we have some standout charts over here. So they have a separate tab for crypto. And I really like that, right? You see, once again, the biggest indices or coins in this case. You see the leaderboard, which they take from Coinbase, but you could also flip that to all exchanges. But let's leave it on Coinbase. So I can see here the price for Bitcoin, which is going up nicely, which is good to see as a Bitcoin investor. And yeah, again, market sentiment specifically for cryptocurrencies, the latest news, Again, some popular spaces, and then the Coinbase 50 index standouts here as well. So really nice market snapshot of what's happening. And then they also have an earnings tab over here where you can basically see past earnings or upcoming earnings, which I also really like because some of the stock research platforms make this quite difficult. We are today on Thursday, so I can see already today's earnings, what is coming up. I can see yesterday's earnings, and then Johnson & Johnson, for example, I can go in and then also see, right? How did they perform? Reported revenue, did they beat expectations or not? You do get an AI analysis of the call, as well as the full transcript if you wanted to go through yourself, but also upcoming earnings. For example, next week, we're going to have quite a few calls coming up. You can see here on Wednesday, 66 calls, Thursday, 128 calls, companies like Blackstone and so on. So it's really easy to kind of follow and see what's happening and stay on top of all the various earnings if that's interesting for you. Right, but let's jump into a specific stock and show you what kind of analysis you can expect to get from it. So let's take one from our watch list. Let's go with Alphabet in this case. So here's the dashboard you will get with Perplexity. And first and foremost, it looks very similar like many other, interfaces. Obviously, you see the price chart, which you can quickly jump to year to date, 1 year, all the various charts over here, which is really nice. I also always like when you can kind of pull and drag your mouse and see the price change. Then, of course, financial profile, which you have over here, the biggest and most important information, latest news again, key issues. And that I also like, they have a bullish view and a bearish view. I always like to have contrasting views because there's not one right or wrong, right? There's different views on a company and a stock. And you could dive into what are the sources, why they're saying that. You could open up different points over here. So I really quite like that. And this is really unique to Perplexity. Latest price movements is also interesting, right? They can see, for example, why a stock jumped. For example, July 11th, it jumped by 1.45% in a day, which is quite high. And obviously, news broke out that Google DeepMind has hired Windsurf's top AI talent. So obviously that was really bullish news for the stock, and immediately it went up quite a bit. Right, and other than that, over here on the right, you have obviously some basic information about the company. And then you can also go at the top over here to financials and have some more deep dives into the finances. Then you also have some more insights over here that you can flick through. But yeah, basically you see the numbers here. You can change to income statement, to the balance sheet, and cash flow statement. The cool thing is you can even download those things, which is nice. So you can download the data in case you want to manipulate the data yourself. So that's a cool way. Not again, all stock research platforms do allow you that. Historical data, also interesting in case you want to have it for your own database. You can download it as well for all different kind of date ranges. Earning calls as well, specifically for the company you're looking for. So you can see the upcoming one, you can see previous earning calls, whether they overperformed, underperformed expectations. And lastly, there's a research tab. So that's usually a report by Morningstar. So you can open it up over here and get a specific report from Morningstar about the company you're looking for, if that's available. But let's go back to overview. And of course, from here, you can also ask questions to Perplexity about the stock. So a very simple question, of course, would be, is now a good time to buy the stock? And then let's see what it tells us. And then obviously it will do a bit of research. Again, I think if you're on the Pro plan, you might get deeper insights. You could even ask for deep research. So it might take 15, 20 minutes and you get even more insights. But let's just have a quick Pro search. And then that's what you get over here. Short-term outlook, valuation concerns, should you buy it if you're a long-term investor? And of course, no AI or anyone can really tell you what to do with your money, whether to buy or not, right? But it can give you a nice, fair, objective, I think in my eyes, fairly objective evaluation of the stock. Ultimately, it's your decision, right? It says also over here, final thought, now may not be the optimal time to make large new stock purchases unless you have a long-term horizon and targeting undervalued sectors. Actually, not financial advice, but I recently opened a position in Google because I think they're really undervalued. And yes, maybe the price will drop in the short term, but I think long term, we are well positioned for further price increases. But again, that's just my personal humble opinion. But certainly using applications like Perplexity helped me make my decision. And finally enough, one question I always like to ask before I buy a stock is, what are Reddit users saying about a certain stock? Let's send it off and it will specifically look for Reddit posts related to that stock, in this case, Google, that we're looking for. And for me, Reddit in a way is like taking the temperature of the internet, how people feel about a certain company or anything, right? If you look anything on Reddit. So you get a good gist of it. Now, I would not make my investment decision based on Reddit, but again, it gives you a good idea of how people think. First and foremost, I invest into the fundamentals of the company, right? Whether I think long-term, they're well positioned, they have the right business idea, the right management, the right execution. But still, you want to have overall investors, like retail investors, also be behind it. So again, it's just one piece of the puzzle, so I always like to read it. But then sifting through all Reddit posts myself can be a bit tedious, so I like to use AI for that, and Perplexity is especially good. It even has a Reddit toggle inside of it. You can actually select your sources for it, and you can see over here you can turn on social and switch off everything else, and will look specifically mostly on Reddit for a certain topic. And here we have the digest of Reddit users overall, the bullish views again, bearish views, as well as some price targets, what they're discussing, right? So for me, it's really interesting. Again, I'm not only making my decision based on that, but it's just, as I said, another piece of the puzzle of your overall investment thesis, which I think is a great way, rather than spending hours going through these forums. If you want to dive in, obviously you always have the sources over here. You can see on which specific Reddit post that was discussed. And of course, you could ask even more questions if you want to do follow-up questions, go even deeper. But overall, you can see it's a really powerful platform, and I think a big competitor to a lot of other platforms out there. They're actually charging you quite a bit of money. Even platforms like fiscal.ai, which previously used to be called FinChat, which is pretty much that, right? AI-powered stock research where you ask questions and follow up. They do have certain features that you don't get on Perplexity yet. Maybe they will come in the future. But I think, yeah, that's quite a competitor over here. And in terms of pricing, you pay pretty much the same on the Plus plan that you will pay for Perplexity Plus. But it also gives you way other things outside of stock research, right? You can use it for every day, for writing, whatever it is. So yeah, in this case, definitely competitors. So personally, I will definitely start integrating Perplexity into my stock research workflow if you want, which I will consult before making any investment decisions. I will definitely use that. I think the tool will evolve further. It's really great to see them really embracing finance as such. I'm sure others like Claude and ChatGPT will follow suit in the future because it makes sense, right? To aggregate so much financial information that's out there and help you as an investor make better and more educated decisions. At the same time, I will still continue using Seeking Alpha. I'm on the premium plan, which for me really makes sense. I also get some AI features over there. And overall, I really just like the dashboard, the insights. I think they're even more deeper and insightful and more intuitive. I can see the revenues, the graphs are nicer. So again, maybe one day Perplexity will get there, but for time being, for me, it's still worth it. Even I really like the analysis over here and articles written by really smart authors. I can also really quickly see whether it's a buy article, a sell related article, and more importantly, the comments. Because as I said, reading Reddit comments is one thing, but here all the commenters are basically premium users, right? So they're paying themselves good money. So these are not bots or some internet degens. So using those two tools together and give you that bird eye view and perspective to make better and smarter investment decisions. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, helps out a lot. Next up, check this video over here. As always, thanks for watching, stay healthy, get wealthy, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.